the World Championship qualification, he should be more relaxed in this game, even if he falls behind in the series.
You know, something that we talked a lot about was just the comfort level that was in there. And BloodTrail, it doesn't seem like he actually has a problem with the stakes or the pressure. You know, we talked about this time in his interview, pretty much every single question, he mentioned something about comfort or sleep. You know, even to the point where he's like, they have more comfortable couches in the players' lounge, so I can nap between matches. You know, that's a big deal when you're talking about playing Hearthstone and being fully focused. If you are outside of your element, that's just one more distraction that you tack onto things. And all of those are that tiny little tax that becomes overwhelming at a certain point. Here, you know, it doesn't seem like the stakes in play or the nerves have been a problem for BloodTrail at all. I think it's quite literally just focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Needed rest.
Could be the case, but as you can see, the bans that were on the screen, Odd Rogue's been banned away from Bloodyface, and the Even Warlock has been banned away from BloodTrail.
Yeah, kind of an interesting ban on the Even Warlock. You know, maybe there's like some like mind game stuff going on here.
Well, there's a demonic project in there, so if he assumes an Odd Rogue ban, Malagos Stewart could struggle against that.
I can see it. It's not a matchup I'm like, you know, happy to face.
Yeah,
that's for sure. And he does have Zoo in the lineup as well, so I think that, you know, Even Warlock's you know, pretty good in that situation too. Probably just strong against his decks, and he's like, nah, don't want to face that.
Yeah, could be the case. Could be the case, especially with Sacrificial Pact.
Oh yeah,
Even Warlock. That's a big one against the Zoo Warlock. So if he thinks that Zoo Warlock might be his weak point, then I do agree with that, because that could be the toughest matchup for him to get it through. Trying to even out his spread across the board, but we'll get into it now. Zoo Warlock game number 1, the Death Rattle Hunter for BloodTrail. Game number 1.
Well, that candle shot on 1 is going to chip down the Kobold Librarian, and that's going to put Bloodyface in a position where he feels like life tapping instead of working on that candle shot's going to be better. I would tend to agree. I think at some point you can get that Librarian behind a taunt, maybe make some impact. For BloodTrail, though, you know, this early opening is great for him. He hasn't seen an explosive start. Bloodyface is not going to have one of those. No Happy Ghoul to, you know, just dump a bunch of threats on the board. And that's really where Death Rattle Hunter is going to find its win rate in this matchup, is when your opponent doesn't have an explosive start and you're able to go toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, and even now on turn 3, sometimes against Zoo Warlock, you can they'll tap for the first couple turns, you'll feel safe, but then they'll just go for that huge turn with Happy Ghouls, Fungalmancers, and the like. But right now, Bloodyface is just playing out 2 2-2s.
Stop talking to me!
I almost had flashbacks there. BloodTrail wearing sunglasses, turn 3, Stitch Tracker in his hand.
Jeez.
Oh, God.
Just got to bring up old stuff, huh?
Yeah. It's my job.
And so, yeah, I guess technically. I'll tell you what, Bloodyface's deck's not doing its job.
No.
Where's the Fungalmancers at?
I wonder.
Where's the Keleseth?
Where's the Flame Imps?
Where's the good cards? These are all the support cards.
He's got some good cards, but he's going to search for more good cards.
Yeah. Those in pairs can be quite scary.
Yeah.
Despicable Dreadlord, you know, such an important card for these weird stalemated looking board positions. I would anticipate Bloodyface is looking at Tar Creeper this turn, and just turn 5, turn 6, play a couple of Despicable Dreadlords. It's really hard for BloodTrail to get online if that's the case.
I was thinking maybe doubling him to try and cash in on those before Deathstalker Rexar becomes an issue.
That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Just start battling for board.
Yeah, because without Prince Keleseth and those doubling imps, unless you draw Soul Infusion and can dump Serenite Chain Gang and Despicable Dreadlord onto the board.
Well, you know, say there's still 2 Soul Infusions left in the deck. So
yeah.
If you pan this out, you know, the way that Bloodyface might be looking at it, he's in for the long game right now. So the pair of Despicable Dreadlords helps him get to that point, and then the 2 Soul Infusions, doubling Imp Tsarnine on the far left. You know, if you eventually end up drawing those, maybe that's the power you need in your draw.
Could be.
Pair of Dreadlords is just so much scarier than just one of them. BloodTrail gonna cube up the Tar Creeper. Wow. This is pretty interesting to me. I like this because he understands that defense is the mode by which he wins, but you know, Bloodyface now has drawn a Fungalmancer, And that's honestly, that's probably the reason that BloodTrail went for this. He's like, if I get Fungal Mancered, I'm not going to have any way to stop this.
And with kind of a dead early game from bloodyface, or at least not a very active one, Fungalmancer is a very real possibility.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the #1 card on BloodTrail's mind for sure.
Yeah. So he realizes no use in saving the coin for Deathstalker Rexar if I assume that these minions are going to get buffed up anyway. He's not going to kill my cube. He can't silence it. So next turn I can just go Terrascale Stalker, try and mop up the board with these Tar Creepers that are going to come out from it, and then follow that up with Deathstalker Rexar.
Well, if he's thinking that bloodyface is not going to kill his cube, you know, I very much disagree with that. I think in bloodyface's position, you look at this board and you go, I can't win if I don't kill this cube. If this gets Death Rattle activated, I'm just done.
That's actually a really good point. And that's probably the first time I've ever heard you not want to push 10 damage.
I know. And honestly, like, it's really weird, unintuitive play to be making, but if BloodTrail's willing to cube his own Tar Creeper, there's got to be a strong reason why. So I think that not killing this cube punishes bloodyface so badly that I don't think he's getting back in this game. I think that's kill the cube with your 3 2/2 and 2/1 minions and crap, and then you play that Despicable Dreadlord and you start working on those Tar Creepers with it.
It could also go the other way too. The same point that you made, where bloodyface may think that he can't win if he doesn't kill the cube. It could be the other way. He may think that he can't win if he puts all that damage into the cube and the Tar Creepers.
It's a very difficult decision to make because you're just not just looking at that one turn. You're looking at like the next 4 or 5 turns of the game. And having to visualize that many different things, you're not going to be able to do it perfectly. So that's where the experience really matters. It's situations like these that players really practice for. But I would venture to say that bloodyface has maybe encountered that one time in practice, and perhaps never. I personally have never seen someone cube a Tar Creeper, but I have the liberty of looking at both hands, and I have the liberty of seeing what they're trying to do based on what their opponents are doing. It's easier for me to look at that and say, oh, you might need to kill that cube. For bloodyface, it's almost impossible to make that call. Probably thinks to himself, nah, just don't beat a Death Rattle activator. Go ahead.
Yep. And that is the juiciest Deathstalker Rexar I've ever seen. And again, that situation, bloodyface has to think, do I win ever if he has Deathstalker Rexar? The answer to that question is probably no. So he has to try and make the biggest board he possibly can to push through and hope he doesn't have it.
Just punished.
Yeah.
Punished twice. I mean, if you get punished twice in back-to-back turns, you're generally just not winning that game.
Yeah. Prince Kel'Seth, cool, but...
You know, this is one of the reasons that we've seen so many decks adapt to just fighting for the board relentlessly, you know, for basically as long as they can. It's such an important measure because as soon as you lose that board, the decks are built to punish you right after that.
I guess one benefit of this for bloodyface, actually, it's not even a benefit.
He's done.
Yeah. I was going to say, the Tar Creeper's only attack for 1. So he does have some life to work with.
He's got 2 more Tar Creepers in the cube.
But they do attack for 1.
You done so. It happens.
Zoo Warlock continued to struggle.
So many possibilities.
In bloodyface's match versus Tsai Mao in the quarterfinals, actually there was 4 Zoo Warlock losses in that game.
Technically 5? Because Tsai Mao lost with Zoo Warlock again in the last game.
I think every single loss in that series was Zoo Warlock.
Yep.
Bloodyface went down 0-2, won the mirror, and then Tsai Mao lost the last 2 games with Zoo. That's been kind of the story of the past 3 days. It's just been, if you have a Zoo in your lineup, you better hope you get one through. You better hope you go Flame him Kel'Seth at least one of those 3 games.
Shall not be tamed.
Just takes King Crush.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's the best play in the scenario, but it's also kind of funny because Witchwood Grizzly was actually pretty good. With very little cards in the hand.
Just keep choking him out.
Yep.
Not really anything bloodyface can do about it. Your head, just get more head.
He's already got a Witchwood Grizzly in hand. By the time he'd play the second one, King Crush would probably just kill him.
That's exactly what will happen.
That's if he doesn't just concede right now. Make a 4/5. Kill a Tar Creeper. Give your opponent 2 more Tar Creepers. Could also take 3 more damage off the board, but there's no way out.
I'm even trying to think of a sequence of things that could happen.
Is there a Deathwing in this deck that I didn't see? He doesn't even have time. He's only on 8 mana.
Bloodyface no quitter. I can respect that.
You're playing for a spot in the finals. You don't quit. You keep going.
It's the second crush just drawn instantly. How can there be 2 King Crushes in the world? Dinosaurs don't even exist anymore.
Your weakness betrays you.
I don't know what to say. There's not really much to talk about. He's just watching him get beat up.
He's still tapping away.
Why do you call?
That's like the best sequence of draws. 1 drops in the Tomb card, and it's still not even close to enough.
BloodTrail going to take game 1. And Death Rattle Hunter, I think, a pretty key one to get out of the way because Bloodyface's lineup is quite aggressive, and that's typically what you can see Hunter struggling to. That being said, Bloodyface's Rogue was banned away, so I think one of the tougher matchups there is gone as well. You know, but Bloodyface's Hunter deck is the Secret Hunter deck. This is like the first time Bloodyface has looked stressed the whole time.
Usually a calm and composed individual.
Begin.
But I mean, it's the kind of situation he was in earlier on in the quarterfinals, as we talked about.
He's had close sets all weekend long. BloodTrail has had very decisive sets all weekend long, and that's a pretty fantastic opening hand.
I would say so.
From both players.
Wow, yeah. So the Secret Hunter has kind of multiple synergy packages going on, right? You have Secret Keeper plus Secrets plus Spellstone. That's your main, well, I wouldn't even call it your main road to victory. One of your roads to victory. And then you have the Beast package, which is Dire Maul, Crackling Razor Maul, Bear Sharks, Animal Companions. So the worst case scenario is when you kind of hit an awkward mixture of both. When you have Spellstone plus Beasts, or Secret Keeper plus Beasts and no Secrets. Those are kind of where it gets awkward, but this is actually pretty good.
This is really smart from Bloodyface here, too. When your opponent wild growths on 2, one of the biggest punishes they have to you is the Twig of the World Tree right afterwards. And if Bloodyface doesn't have a pretty explosive, aggressive opening, what that means is BloodTrail's free to just get Twig online and start whacking away. So the 2 options are either you somewhat bait them into playing Twig and then try to capitalize with it on the Animal Companion afterwards, or you just make them not play Twig, and then somewhere down the line they have to spend 4 mana doing that. BloodTrail can't just play the Twig and start whacking into a 4/4. That's, he's going to die super quick if he does that.
Yeah.
So Bloodyface tries to get these online before BloodTrail finds a swipe and to punish the Twig at the same time. Unfortunately, he runs right into Swipe Moonfire on the following 2 turns, so it's redevelop time. I think this is really smart from Bloodyface, though.
Yeah.
And now it's on 6 mana, and BloodTrail, looking at a hand full of things that don't really do anything. This is not the ideal turn for Twig of the World Tree. Bloodyface is pretty darn happy to see a turn this week.
He's also got Mossy Horror. It's a good way to fight against Spreading Plague. Could also be a good way to fight through Malfurion just to push him additional damage.
It's the first turn of the game where Bloodyface, I think, has one of those awkward decisions where do you get a trap online or do you just start hero powering? I would anticipate BloodTrail, quite rarely using hero power and attacking a minion here. But I think he wants a secret up to start causing the guesswork on BloodTrail's side. BloodTrail knows that he's got Snipe. He knows that he's got Rat Trap. And when you attack, if you attack face and you don't see the face one activate, that's when those 2 cards start creeping in your head. So you go, is this Arcane Tyrant going to get sniped?
Let's see.
Is this Dream Petal Florist going to get sniped?
Yeah, so another one of the benefits of Bloodyface running like one of almost every secret, I think Snake Trap is the one that he's decided to exclude.
That's right.
It's really hard to narrow it down because there's so many options that it could be. Much different from the early Secret Hunter packages where we saw, you know, double Wandering Monster, double Freezing, and an Explosive, where you can narrow it down a lot easier. He's just got so many, and he's actually just going to attack in. This will summon the Poisonous Cobra.
Pretty surprised there was no Malfurion there.
Maybe he understands that a blowout from Mossy Horror is a definite possibility.
That would be the reason that you don't play Malfurion for sure.
Because there's no Spreading Plague in hand, he doesn't have a way to kind of follow that up and bait out the Mossy Horror, then Spreading Plague afterwards.
It's also just, you know, if you can get the Cobra out of the way once you're done with the attacks, like maybe Malfurion's a little bit more powerful then.
Yeah.
It just feels like this was a bit of a risk, you know, considering something like Houndmaster. That would have been just a major punish in this spot.
This is actually a reasonably tough turn.
You can tell that bloodyface does not want the kill command to score for him.
No. No, no, no.
But he might gotta.
Yeah. Kill command the 4/4 feels bad, but honestly, protecting your board in this situation may be the one way that you win. But it looks like he is going to hero power. Going to try and push that damage and hope that this kill command is enough to finish the game.
It feels like he's also hoping that BloodTrail may just pay this off as a secret that benefits him in this situation, but there's just no way. Like BloodTrail, it took so long in the turn, and BloodTrail, his hand is demanding right now that he actually take action in this spot.
And now BloodTrail makes that trade for him anyway. I think he might have just had the hard read and now it's Freezing Trap when in fact it wasn't. And his armor gain is limited to, well, I guess he has the branching paths. It was,
and he's got Malfurion.
Yeah, he's got Malfurion too. Malfurion could be punished by Mossy Horde, but branching paths is gaining 12.
The big story for me is that BloodTrail doesn't really have any card draw, and Alex Straza is really his big card right now. So it's not looking like he has a huge payoff anytime soon. You know, has the Spellstone to deal with the Shaw. And so bloodyface is on a draw for a big card here. Subject 9 would be big.
Deathstalker Rexar.
Summon Wolves, not so much.
But it may just be his only option. I think it is his only option.
2 3/3s is still 2 3/3s, but I think that was the turn that bloodyface needed to have something big. It wasn't there, and I fear he's going to start falling behind now.
Now he's got Spreading Plague, so Malfurion, even if it gets Mossy Horde, he's got Spreading Plague to back it up. Now we'll just trade off when this Mind Control tech.
Probably the value trade.
Value trade over the Secret Keeper.
Yeah.
There's just one secret means that goes up.
He wants to eliminate beasts. He says Houndmaster's the scary one. Kill the Houndmaster targets.
Yeah. Well, if he is worried about Mossy Horror, actually just leaving the Secret Keeper up means that by Mossy Horroring, well, it doesn't matter.
Bloodyface, he has to find an early way to punish BloodTrail's Druid deck there, or he's going to struggle. So no Bear Shark, no Houndmaster, no buffed Spellstone, no Subject 9, no Deathstalker Rexar, no early Secret Keeper Snowballs, and the double Animal Companion got checked by a swipe.
Yeah. And that early start was, besides just Secret Keeper plus Secret Spellstone, is just about the best that he could have hoped for. Dire Mole, Crackling Razor Maw, Animal Companion, and Houndmaster Shaw, all available to him, but just wasn't able to piece it together. And BloodTrail now, his game score moves up to 11-1.
Combo? I feel like the Hunter deck is really well equipped to fight it. And I feel like Zoo's, it's a deck that's capable of beating everything. Again, we've seen it struggle a lot this weekend. But that's the nature of aggro decks. You live and die by the consistency percentages that you have. You're not always going to do the ideal thing every single game. You're not always going to have perfect starts. And a lot of times you're going to lose those games. But when you have a board go unchecked for a turn or so, that's when you start getting them.
If Bloodyface can't do it with this Zoo hand, I don't know if I can think of a Zoo hand that can do it.
the Happy Ghoul ones. It's kind of an awkward turn.
Yeah, the Flame Imp into
Stop copying me!
I think
Light Warden, Voodoo Doctor.
I think you want to play the doubling imp here and just, you know, for all intents and purposes, Bloodyface is a burn deck. His goal is to attack BloodTrail a lot. And so what this allows him to do is actually play the Soul Infusion onto the Chain Gang, play the Flame Imp, and if he draws something that goes with it, be able to play that, and if not, you get to life tap. So he needs to keep his engine going, and at the same time, he needs to have big development. So Kobold Librarian, probably an ideal draw here.
Wow.
And so now, Bloodyface, you know, you're staring down Manatide Totem. It's quite scary. Okay, well, that's... The problem is his board's on 2 health, right? So Lightning Storm is a very scary card if he's not trading off the board. So
But maybe he's thinking if he Lightning Storms, next turn he follows that up with the buff Serenite Chain Gang and then hides a Flame Imp behind it versus a 3-1 on board going into BloodTrail's overloaded turn. I think that's the highest likelihood that he sticks 2 minions for Fungalmancer.
right, and so the trade there makes sense because he's playing for that specific situation to occur. Typically, I don't like the trades in this deck, but when your board is guaranteed weak to Lightning Storm, it's probably not worth the risk.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think, the difference between the trades in those situations and not. You know, Bloodyface just recognized it very quickly. I was still thinking about it in my head. That's, again, that experience that he has in that situation. He knows what to do.
Yeah. Of course, BloodTrail going to freeze the middle one here, so that way Fungalmancer has the least amount of value. I was honestly thinking that a dig for Farsight could be better, but you just take so much damage from Fungalmancer that I just don't think, on second thought, that could be an option.
And Bloodyface, I think you start buffing your minions, you start attacking face. There's nothing left on this board that's valuable. You have Doomguard in hand, you have 2 Fungalmancers. Again, you are a burn deck. It's time to burn your opponent down.
Is Volcano ever a consideration for going all in on board like that?
I think, of course, it is. You know, so the consideration is, do you play the Void Walker or not? But you have Happy Ghoul in hand, you have another Fungalmancer. Like, in my opinion, it's like one of these situations where your opponent's used a Lightning Storm, they've been quickly playing their stuff. If they don't have Volcano here, the game has ended. And if they do have Volcano, you get a turn to reload. That is... Because now you've basically done the same thing, except you miss damage onto the face when they have Volcano. Because they're going to Volcano here, too.
Well, this play actually makes it so that Volcano doesn't clear off the board.
That's not true. You attack in the 1-1, and then there's 15 health left on board.
There's 9 health.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Ah, it's 1 health off. Okay.
Yeah. So it would leave 1 minion. And maybe that's his consideration.
Ah, you're still in bad shape after that. Take your 3 damage. If they don't have Volcano, they die. And he didn't have Volcano, so he's going to die anyway. So, debate the semantics or not.
It's playtime.
This puts technically more health on board, so I like it more. At this stage, it is just about keeping your opponent from being able to cripple you with Volcano. Yeah, and I think Bloodyface is past that point now. BloodTrail needs heaps of help to win this game.
Mind control tag.
That's
your
part of that
boss.
heaps.
He was hoping for one of those big taunts.
Oh my. Oh geez.
Well, that's just game with the Doomguard in hand.
Yeah.
And the Fungal Generator, because that's
Big
going
one.
to heal up a lot of minions.
Well, the deck that had the biggest question mark for us then is past the hump, and Bloodyface now brought this 2 games to 1. BloodTrail has had decisive sets all weekend long. Encouraged him to do it, so it's technically my fault.
It's Hearthstone time!
Woo! Who's ready for Hearthstone?
Woo!
5 people. Why don't you try it? I think they like you more.
Nah, I don't want to.
Okay.
Let's get into it, though. BloodTrail One game away from a finals appearance at a championship. And one of the things we didn't mention earlier, BloodTrail is currently at 126 HCT points.
That is a lot.
First place is 30 points, and second place is 25 points. So if BloodTrail wins this series, he has clinched one-star master status. That's admirable.
That's a big deal.
That's a really big deal.
Hunter Ace was the first one-star master player of the year. He was also the first 2 and 3 afterwards.
Yes.
Continued on that streak, and as players have continued to attend tour stops and put up performances in playoffs and championships, we're starting to see that program flesh out. And the more players that you see in that, the more idea you have of who's been performing top-notch throughout the year. It's really tough to see every single event, keep up with everything. There's so much of it that you can catch it when you want to. But for BloodTrail to have that, really just the short span of the couple months where he started making appearances, that's a really big deal.
Yeah. Definitely the case. 30 clinched his world championship spot, so potentially him qualifying could open up opportunities for other players. But currently bloodyface hits the wild growth, but doesn't hit anything to back this up. Has to just play out mind control tech.
Yeah, this is a matchup, mind control tech is pretty much just a 3-3. But bloodyface has drawn now just about every heavy card in the deck. There is a Lich King and a Dream Petal Florist that are left, and he's going to be looking for the big stuff afterwards. But when BloodTrail sees that, he gets a very clear image of the type of hand bloodyface has, and that is bad news for bloodyface.
Yeah.
BloodTrail is likely, I think, to just turbo try to draw through this deck now and find combo pieces, because he knows that the missing pieces for bloodyface at this point is card draw.
And I'll be honest, in this matchup specifically, we've seen some very weird plays throughout the last 4 days. We've also seen combo pieces in the bottom 2 cards for both players in the same game. We've seen some at least one missed lethal opportunity from the Malagos Druid side. There's been some wild stuff happening.
Oh my.
But it's Moonfire now. He needs Nourish.
Yikes.
He needs ways to empty his hand. He needs Ultimate Infestation. Because now with all these heavy cards in his hand, even if he draws card draw, what does he have to make space?
Well, that Sarnet is actually, I think, quite important for BloodTrail, because bloodyface was about to go into Malfurion this turn, and actually, I imagine, into coin Alexstrasza after that, and just try to get something done afterwards. His hand is just nothing but big stuff, so he's really on the back foot where development is concerned. And if that's the case, you got to just start using your threats at that point.
Yeah.
Your hope is that your opponent can't check them properly and that you can maybe run away with it.
Yeah. And here's the thing about this matchup, too. Bloodyface can gain a significant amount of health over the course of the game, but BloodTrail cannot. Well, he can't gain armor. He has healing rains. Those are only going to bring him back up to 30, 35 max with Hagatha. And BloodTrail can't just win by playing the combo. He can't just win by playing one Shutterwalk that goes infinite and saying, okay, I'm done. My work here is done. Because bloodyface, as long as he just survives and can take some hits from Shutterwalks and the life drinkers that come with it, he can still piece together his combo in time to kill him even through that, because the damage potential for Malagos Druid is, well beyond 30.
Yeah, and that's, one of the reasons why BloodTrail we've seen him kind of racing to draw cards in a lot of spots, is Grumble is really one of the most important tools of that. And it's also one of the reasons that bloodyface chooses to go for poisons here. He just needs to start fighting the board. At no stage is he really worried about taking too much damage or what have you, because BloodTrail getting a 1-cost Shutterwalk back into hand is one of the key mechanisms. Without that, he's doing a much more limited amount of damage per turn. It's that 1-cost Shutterwalk that starts that giant chain where you can hit your opponent, for 60 points of damage in a single turn.
There's honestly just not much to play this turn.
Well, he's looking for the Acolyte Volcano turn. So I expect him to just dump stuff onto the board.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's going to do with just Spell Power Totem plus Mind Control Tech.
The hand getting, fairly clogged up for BloodTrail, and that's why bloodyface is pointing out to Alexstrasza. He recognizes BloodTrail's going for that Acolyte Volcano turn, so I need to put pressure on him right away.
And actually, no healing rain picked up could end up being a big deal. He has Hagatha, but that takes up essentially an entire turn.
Speak to me.
And bloodyface with Malagos double Moonfire in hand is basically just a hero power away from setting up a lethal.
The walk, but we're still missing Grumble.
Life Trigger does give him a little bit more buffer room.
Now, in this spot, I want to see bloodyface slam that Malagos and sling those Moonfires. That's going to set BloodTrail to 3 with an ultimate infestation and a 4-cost Malagos in your hand. This is great aggressive play from bloodyface. He's threatening lethal on 2 angles, both with the hero power and with ultimate infestation.
Yeah.
He is not going to use another minion until it's that flooped Malagos. He's going to ultimate infestation here and look for more burn. BloodTrail's in trouble.
And BloodTrail has to have basically exactly Healing Rain Hex.
And he doesn't have that.
And he doesn't have that. He can't even Life Drinker Hex. He can't Hagatha because he's overloaded as well.
So bloodyface, it seemed like ahead of time, recognized that BloodTrail was going for the Acolyte Volcano turn, and then on 7 mana, it requires that exact 2-card combination to get it done. And so with, you know, a fairly weak hand.
All right, it's time. Game number 5. Who's going to be moving on to the finals? Will it be BloodTrail? Will it be bloodyface?
Thinking about BloodTrail's hands and the way that he gets blown out of this game, Mind Control Tech feels like a card that I would want to keep in BloodTrail's position. He's not going to keep it. He's going to find another one. You know, one of the scary things I can think about is your opponent just opening up into a Spellstone. But you got to check the early stuff too. Your opponent's going to sometimes come out with Dire Bowl and Crackling Razor Maw. Sometimes they're going to have Animal Companion, Eaglehorn Bow, or Flanking Strike. What range of cards best handles the most scenarios you will encounter?
Which is tough because, as we've mentioned many times, the Secret Hunter has a lot of angles of attack. And it all starts with the 1-drops.
1-drop bloodyface, they call them. They've been saying it for years.
1-drop BloodTrail, they call him.
They've been saying it for years. It's like a double tracking is going to be in order.
Oh, man. Kill command can sometimes be pretty crucial for winning games. But Crackling Razormaw and Houndmaster are pretty crucial for just...
So, I mean, you think about the most common turns from BloodTrail, right? It's going to be coin 3/3. It's going to be coin Acolyte. Saves the second tracking.
He doesn't know what he wants.
This is a really important animal companion for bloodyface this turn. It's not the one I was thinking of, but honestly, it'll probably get the job done.
Either way, Bloodface is coming out of this turn with a beast on board for Houndmaster.
Looks like Flanking Strike's probably in order in this spot, though.
I was thinking Earthshock would come down in that situation to kill off the Huffer, but I can see where he's going with this one. But yes, Flanking Strike is...
It's just too good. That's just so good. You just killed your opponent's thing, dealt them 5 damage, and added a minion to board. Like, you can't get better than that. BloodTrail going to slow it down now. Wants to hang on to the Ooze for Eaglehorn Bow. Knows the Earthshock will cut to the damage as well. And it looks like he's working towards that Electra Healing Rain turn, whenever that's going to come up. And bloodyface, opportunity to capitalize here.
Yeah. Interesting to note, BloodTrail held on to Lightning Storm despite it plus Earthshock being a full clear, just because I don't think he has a strong read of what the hand is from bloodyface, and if he Lightning Storms now, and then bloodyface has reload, especially since he's just holding onto the card that he tracked, which is the Houndmaster. He just feels like he can't afford to Lightning Storm in this case, especially since he has the buffer of Electro healing rain, or if he absolutely needs it, Electro plus his Lightning Storm.
Bloodyface going to go big here. Outside of the range of Lightning Storm, but not outside of the range of Volcano. But I don't think you can worry about Volcano. I think it's going to hurt regardless of when that comes. Full steam ahead.
Drawful BloodTrail, Serenite Chain Gang.
That's going to cut into that damage. I think an Eagle Horn Bow would be a great draw for Bloodyface. Houndmaster Shaw's looking pretty good too.
Houndmaster Shaw's looking fantastic because this Crackling Razor Maul can just go in to one of these Serenite Chain Gangs.
So this is also a key decision point. You got to recognize how much health there's going to be on board and then decide, is +3 health going to be enough to stop a Volcano? If not, then you probably go for Living Spores. Just have something on board when that big clear comes down. That extra 2 damage is a compounding issue that BloodTrail still has to answer afterwards. So I think I like the spores here. You know, his board's going to take 4 damage in this spot, and you're going to push face. Take the spores, push more damage.
There's the healing totem on board, which can't be killed off, so it's just kind of a 2 health buffer from Volcano. So with +3 health, he'd have...
Quickly.
20 health on board, 4 goes in.
Looks
so
like
it goes down to 16, so it actually survives the Volcano.
Is there 18 health on board after this? So he trades the Crackling Razor Maul, trades in the Houndmaster. Oh, he's not going to trade the Houndmaster.
Yeah, there's actually 18 health, so
Yeah.
Volcano wouldn't clear this.
Engaging TC
Mind control tech, though.
Until dislocated.
That's a huge steal right now. You know, Bloodyface played that turn really quickly. Should he have traded that Dire Mole in? Like at the end, the combat is what he played quickly. The rest of the turn was spent thinking about Volcano. Did he have just a you know, momentary lapse of the Dire Mole being there? How important is the 1/1 right now? I don't know, but I like damage, so I hate trading my minions in to play around mind control tech, but here Shaw is just such a big steal that I don't want to lose that.
Goes back up to 26. Well, that's the reload. As weird as it sounds, I'm honestly thinking snipe, kill command, face, hero power.
I want to save the kill command, but I do want to play the secrets. I think the secrets can give BloodTrail a little bit of guesswork to do, and I think that pushing the damage on board right now is a lot more important than clearing Shaw.
Yeah.
You know, BloodTrail can make use of Shaw, but his deck's not dedicated to doing so, and he's the one who's fighting off the board right now. So for Bloodyface, you start pushing damage.
Yeah, and the snipe ends up being a big deal because the Houndmaster Shaw effect is reduced because BloodTrail, if he plays a minion expecting it to be able to attack in with the rush effect the Houndmaster Shaw gives it, it's going to be sniped away. Wandering Monster, not really an effect, but the effect there is that you just get an extra 3/3 when you inevitably play Spellstone next turn.
Lightning can strike twice.
And you lose the 3/3 as well. That's a big deal right now.
Lose the 3/3, but still keep the effect from Electra. And now Lightning Storm's going to be used. Oh, man.
And this is exactly what Bloodyface is hoping for, that the snipe would discourage BloodTrail from just being able to trade straight up on board because the damage was pushed. So now he's overloaded big time, and Bloodyface is going into 4 wolves in a turn, and BloodTrail knows he can't attack face here either. And for Bloodyface, it's keep chipping away with his hero power.
Yep.
Deviation, or is he adding to it? Just adding to it.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe holding on to the Animal Companion, fitting in the hero power, so that way if he does find a way to remove your board, then you have the Beast activator for the kill command.
Oh my.
Wow. He can't hero power
He's just
Lightning
got to
Storm,
go
so
for
he's
it,
got to
though.
rip it.
He's just got
This
to
is
rip
big.
it. Only 1 wolf dies in the process.
And that's it.
Bloodyface has lethal. Taking down BloodTrail and moving on to the finals.
Second reverse sweep in a row for Bloodyface. Handing BloodTrail his first match loss of the tournament and quadrupling